Howdy do, guys and gals alike. My name is Kibi, and this is Chapter 8 of my Fire Emblem 8 0% Growths low turn count playthrough. The first thing to note about Chapter 8 is that we get thrown immediately into the action. We do not start off on the world map, and in fact, we have no access to the world map upon entering Chapter 8. This is for plot reasons, like Eirika can't really traverse the world map because she's trapped in this castle thing, or something along those lines. And that can be quite annoying to the unprepared player that wants to buy stuff. However, thankfully, I buy most of my stuff beforehand, so it's not really a concern, these chapters that start immediately, essentially. But we still have to do with this chapter. It's a seas map. In fact, it's our final seas map with Eirika as our lord. Since we are going Ephraim route, we no longer have to deal with Eirika and her tendency to get one-hit KO'd by stuff. That sort of thing. That's great. I'm excited. However, this map is still kind of tricky, especially this turn 1. Figuring out this turn 1 was kind of tricky. We have to kill both of these soldiers and position our units carefully, such as Seth. Seth has to start out in the front of the starting formation and then move forward 8 tiles every single turn so that we can drop Eirika in a certain spot on a certain turn. And that stops him from doing like basic stuff such as killing that Armor Knight on turn 1 player phase. So we have to position our units outside of that Armor Knight's range so that he can die on Seth instead. And of course, these enemies, the Myrmidon, Mercenary, and Archer, aren't too easy to deal with either. Combine this with the fact that we need to position Moulder where he is so that he can heal Seth. And it was a bit tricky to figure out, and we had to rely on some rescue chains, but it was alright. As for our other units, we basically are prepared to deal with this other group of enemies. Joshua and our rest of the units can take them out easily enough, and we can also get some healing experience with our healers, Moulder and Natasha. It should be noted that Natasha is using Mend, as opposed to Moulder who's using Heal. You would think that'd be the other way around, since Moulder is the, better healer. However, the staff experience that Natasha gets from Mend is more important than the extra 1 experience Moulder would get from normal Mend usage. And that's pretty important because, if you recall, Natasha prefers staff experience while Moulder prefers normal experience, since he has to promote. Also on turn 2, we have Seth dealing with some Armor Knights. He has a Steel Lance equipped. That gets him a lot of Lance experience. However, it's more reliable than an Armorslayer, which would be the alternative. We do not want Seth to get too much Lance experience in general, because we prefer him to get S swords instead. That enemy phase with the armors gets him dangerously close to S lances, however, it's not quite, and it allows us to get S swords on turn 3, as you'll see soon enough. In general, that chest room is pretty interesting. 5 armors is a terrifying amount for most of our units, so we have Seth clear 3 of them out. There are 2 that remain, but we can manage them later and get the item in the chest, which is an Angelic Robe. The Angelic Robe is a very important item, a very nice stat booster. In general, stat boosters usually boost a certain stat by 2, however, the Angelic Robe boosts HP by an entire 7, so that will be a very nice boost in durability for the unit that gets it. We also dropped Eirika on this turn. Her drop point is very important. It is 10 tiles away from the throne, which means that she will be able to seize within 2 turns. And it also allows Seth to shield her from the enemies in the throne room, namely those soldiers and the Armor Knight. She would probably get destroyed by them if she was exposed, so that's great. However, there are a few other enemies that can hit her regardless. There was a Shaman earlier that Garcia killed. We had to make sure to kill him so that they wouldn't attack Eirika. And even then, there's that Longbow Archer that really likes to attack Eirika whenever possible. However, we made sure to get Moulder attacked by the Shaman earlier this turn, or not this turn, this clear, such that the Longbow Archer will be enticed to attack Moulder and bring him down to 1 HP. And that's very nice because the alternative would be forcing Eirika to dodge that Archer, which wouldn't be too bad, but of course I prefer reliable strategies. We all do. So now we're getting ready to deal with the chest room, and Seth is getting prepared to deal with the boss. The boss is Tirido. I believe he's the first promoted enemy we fight in the game. He is the first promoted boss, definitely. And he's kind of a tough cookie. Seth cannot one-round KO him, even with an Armorslayer and the energy ring we gave him at the beginning of this chapter. The energy ring in general is very important to killing certain enemies in a quick fashion, and it definitely helps versus Tirido. We also have Eirika use this pure water so that she is able to take 2 hits from these mages. Otherwise she would just get obliterated and they would attack her, kill her. That's not great. And Seth isn't in position to kill those mages either on the previous turn. I also haven't mentioned them yet, but Ephraim and his 2 Cavalier pals, Kyle and Forde, have appeared once more. They are in our party for now, I mean, for the rest of the game, and that's great. I mean, Cavalier's always nice, Ephraim is a great lord, it's good stuff. We made sure to get Forde as much experience as we can, even to the point where we have him chip enemies on enemy phase, as opposed to killing them outright, so that he can get chip experience and then kill experience. The little optimizations like that end up being essential to promoting Forde in time. I also forgot to note this, but Tirido also has the Great Shield skill. The Great Shield skill allows Tirido to, if it procs, it negates all damage Seth does. As you could probably guess, not doing damage to Tirido would be horrible, so if he procced that, that would be a run ender. But thankfully he didn't. I believe it's dependent on Seth's level, and Seth should be among the lines of level 6 at this point in the game, so that's kind of annoying. And now it's turn 5, so now we're in position to seize. We make sure to get these final few kills with Forde. It should also be noted that we do a lot of healing with Mend in this chapter. I mean, that's just nice in general. It's optimal after all. However, I'm going to do something weird with it soon enough. I also forgot to say that the mages, due to Eirika using the pure water, decided to attack Seth instead of Eirika. Honestly, I can't think of why. I think both pure water, Eirika, and Seth have 8 resistance, so they would do the same amount of damage. I don't know. I suppose that they just prefer attacking Seth, and that's very nice because otherwise we'd have to clear the way for Eirika to seize, and we're not in position to do that. You're gonna see the angelic robe get, and I do the weird maneuver of sending the Mend over to the convoy, finishing off Tirido, and then taking the Mend out of the convoy with Eirika so that she can take it on with her to the rest of the game. Eirika will not be joining us for a good amount of time, which means that we will not be using this Mend for a good amount of time. It's a very weird maneuver, and I had reasoning for it at the time. You could perhaps guess what that reasoning was. However, it ended up being unnecessary in the end, and so we kind of just lost a few Mend uses. That's a shame. After the chapter is done in 5 turns, we go Ephraim route, and I will see you guys for the longest chapter in the game next time.